Yay Networks.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast.
I'm so excited to tell you guys everything about the marathon today. I just want to let you know that Jonathan beat his record.
Beat my record?
Whatever you had set for yourself.
Well, last minute, guys. Anyways, babe, you kind of give me anxiety when you just start. Like, you used to be like, what's up, guys? Happy Friday, blah, blah, blah. You just go straight into it.
Go to our podcast. We'll be like, oh my God, babe, you always say that. Happy Friday.
And I always
change
say,
it up.
Spill the Beans podcast.
Okay, well, that's our podcast.
Anyways, guys, I'm here with my lovely co-host. You are looking more beautiful than ever, babe.
Oh, damn, babe, you good?
Know I really like that saying from that one movie. Like, I love you more. Wait, what?
I love you. She's like, or he's like, I love you so much. And she's like, No.
I love you more than tomorrow.
No. I love you more than yesterday, but not more than tomorrow.
Oh, that's cute. Guys, Nowhere on Netflix, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that movie. That movie was so good, and I am not into movies.
And watch it in Spanish if you can. It has more emotion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, guys. Anyways, we just wanted to start off with thank you so much for all the positive DMs we got. We're going to read some here in a bit. It's kind of change of pace, and it's kind of nice because usually our DMs, and well, I'm not blaming anyone, we've made it this way, is advice. And usually advice isn't so positive, right? It's, toxicity, death, trauma, etc., etc. So every once in a while when we see a positive comment or a DM, it really makes our day. So we're going to read those here in a bit. But before we start, a little plug to one of our sponsors for today, which is
Vibe & Cares.
Vibe & Co.
Oh, Vibe & Co. Well, both. Because, guys, I have been wanting this for so long. I am a crew neck girly, and it's fall, and it's getting a little chilly. So we're coming out with our I'm Happy You're Alive shirt. No, design.
Sweater.
Design, because it's a design. We're coming out with this design in a crew neck. What size did you get me?
Large.
So this is a large, and it does fit a little bit oversized. So if you want an oversized look, you can size up, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. Should I turn around over there?
Yeah, do it.
Should I? Wait, hold this.
Damn, babe, you're that Hydro Flask meme with the whole jug.
Stanley. Oh, can they see it?
Yeah. To the person behind me, I'm happy you're alive, guys. We've had so much positive feedback on this design in general. It's been our #1 selling. Every time we restock, I do more shirts, right? And I say I because I'm the one that handles like the business side of it. And every time, my goal is to get to a point where we can order enough shirts where we have them on stock. Because sometimes a big influencer will post us. Sometimes, people stumble across our video and they want to go buy something. So my goal is to have enough shirts where people like find us and then they go buy a shirt. But so far, thanks to God, it's a good problem to have. We have not been able to keep it in stock. Like you guys, every time we restock more and more, you guys buy more and more. So thank you so much. It means the world to us. And little update on Vibe & Cares. I think we should give them. It's going great, guys. We are helping so many girls, and we're going to start helping our first male patient here soon. Patient? Is that the word? I don't want to, that's too harsh.
Maybe.
Patient?
I don't think so.
Applicant?
It's like a applicant.
Okay.
Yeah, like
so then we've helped so many people so far, guys. And the point, if you follow Vibe & Co on Instagram, you'll see how we've helped. And to be honest with you, we wish we could show so much more. But a lot of people do choose to remain anonymous. They're nervous, they're shy, they're sometimes embarrassed. But we are so proud of them nonetheless, because the first step is crucial, and we're so proud of you, every single one of them. So yeah, hang on with us, guys. Hopefully we'll be able to find more people that are willing to, open themselves up.
Yeah, and when we talk about opening up, we don't even say it in a sense where you have to tell us why you're going to therapy. We just want them to tell you their testimony, tell you how their first session went, tell you the expectation versus what actually happened, like the reality of therapy. So we're trying to get behind that. One of the first testimonies we posted was a black screen, right? Like it was, you couldn't see their face, you could just see the person. So even that was nice. But yeah, we're kind of trying to work on that in the back end. It was a requirement in our application process, but we understand that a lot of people will change their minds. But yeah, you guys can see those on Vibe & Co Instagram.
Yeah. And also before we continue, guys, this design also a high seller. I go to the gym because I can't afford therapy. I think it's so, what's the word, babe? Like play on words. There's a word for that. Contingent.
Baby, you're asking
I'm asking the wrong person, definitely for that. Guys, it's funny because obviously we're like a mental health organization and we give free therapy, but our shirt says I go to the gym. So, it's a play on words and I think it's cute. And a lot of you guys might be like, summer's over. I don't really got to try anymore. No, this is when you're supposed to put the work in, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys, like myself, are big procrastinators. So you need to start now. So by next summer, you have the body that you want or close to it.
Is that the saying?
What?
Summer bodies are made in winter?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, guys, go get you this shirt, help someone receive free therapy, and at the same time, get a little bit of motivation to hit the gym harder, okay?
And this crew neck, by the way, makes you feel so good when you're wearing it. Because, yeah, you can feel people staring at you, but you know that they're reading it. And you never know if that's what they needed to hear that day, So
you never know
you'll feel amazing.
Like, I don't want to be so strong, and I don't want to use the S word or the D word, Is it D word? Yeah. But you never know what that specific person at the gym could be thinking, guys. Usually the happiest people like outside are the saddest. So, you never know who you could help. Yeah. So anyways, guys, let's get right into it. Let's read some positive DMs.
Yes, let's start your Friday or Thursday, if you're a Spotify listener, off with some positive DMs that we got sent.
Okay, this one's a little bit of positive. I just want to say thank you for your hard work on the podcast. I love listening to them. I usually save them to listen on Monday mornings because it is the toughest day of the week for me personally, and it motivates me to start off the week on a good note. Also wanted to mention I'm a Leo and a Gemini boyfriend, and I'm starting to connect the dots between Geminis. Son bien tóxicos.
Period, queen.
Period, queen. Up to you. Another one. You guys, Blanca's totally motivated me to run the Boulderthon. I'm from San Diego and I love traveling and recently started running. I didn't know of Boulderthon until right now that I'm watching the podcast, and I'm thinking of it would be such an amazing experience as well as rewarding experience to fly out and accomplish that. Like Blanca said, it's a flex, haha. Anyways, you got this, Blanca. See you next year.
Yay.
Woo,
if you guys want to run the Boulderthon with me, sign up so we can be buddies. And please stay at my pace.
Another one. I really love this podcast. My boyfriend and I just found out we are having a baby, and we are so excited but nervous about it. You guys should just make a podcast on giving first-time parents advice and answering their questions.
Oh, we should do that. I think we have a little bit of experience.
Yeah. Lastly, hi, Jonathan and Blanca J. I love how in today's podcast you told us to send more positive DMs. I'm getting married in 3 weeks. I'm so happy to have met my person and to be starting a new chapter in my life. We both love listening to your podcast and starting our Thursdays to a new one. Love you guys.
Oh, congratulations. Guys, wow. I feel like this year has been wedding and baby year. Don't you think, babe? Like, I feel like every year people get pregnant here and there. Some people get married. But this year, it's like, holy shit, everybody's getting married and having babies.
Yeah, I think it goes by, like, age.
Oh, yeah.
By, like, who we know. I'm sure our parents in, like, 1998, because you and I were both born in 1998. Like, and all their friends. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So I think it all goes by friends. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for the positive DMs. Go ahead and DM us more of those, and also make sure you're following the Spill the Beans Instagram, because we posted the giveaway winner that guessed Stacy and Denny last week. I just go to the very first comment. Guys, DMs don't count, unfortunately. You have to do it on YouTube. And I posted the winner, the username, and they never reached out. So that's $50 that I get to in my pocket. Just kidding. I would love to give it to you guys, but come on.
Well, do you want to tell them which one it was? You have the screenshot.
Maybe they don't have an Instagram.
Maybe they don't have an Instagram.
Oh my God. Jocelyn with a Y, Bruno 1371. Hi, Spill the Beans! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Stacy and Denny. You spelled Denny wrong, but
and
it's okay.
Stacy.
Oh, both. But you guessed.
No
I'll
cuenta.
give it to you. So, girl, if you're watching this, and I know you are because you're the first one to comment a lot of times,
DM us on Instagram,
and
girl.
make an Instagram, okay? And if you're underage and your parents don't let you have one, then
you can't have cash
make a
up
fake
either.
one. All right. What else, babe? What were we gonna say?
Oh yeah, we just wanted to update them on your marathon.
Oh yeah, let's
This
give a little
exciting.
update.
You got bragging rights, babe.
Babe,
That is
shut
insane.
up.
Like the fact that people actually searched up what they're like 13 miles away from them was, and then they made that connection, is like you ran that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I told my dad the other day when he was here, and I was like, oh, it's from our house to the Longmont Airport, which is 13 miles. I looked up, and he's like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, look. Originally, this is why I don't want to give myself credit, babe, because originally my goal to do 13.1 miles was 2 hours, right?
Okay, but you literally didn't
2
train,
hours
my boy.
and 15 minutes around there. That was like 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? Because I was training and stuff, blah, blah. But then I would say a good 2 months before the race, my training just
tanked.
Boom. Okay, we started having a lot of, I wouldn't say, I don't think, my first word was family problems, but I don't see them as family problems. It was just little bumps in the road, and good bumps and bad bumps. Obviously, we had a lot of things with the baby, the videos we had to film with the baby, just the baby in general, Blanca feeling like crap. And then obviously, usually I would go out to run during Blanca would do the nighttime routine, but then I kind of, because you know your belly's getting bigger, I'm kind of helping more with nighttime routine, so then I couldn't really run at night anymore. But I would say the biggest excuse, which shouldn't be an excuse, guys, is the time change, or not the time, it hasn't changed yet,
the sun.
But the sun going down. I used to be able to go out like at 7 and run an hour to 8, but now it gets dark like at 5:36, so then I eat like around 4, so then I'm not digested yet, so I'm like, how can I go out run if my belly's still full, you know? Regardless, guys, I know their excuses are dumb excuses, but with that being said, I would say the last good month before the race, I probably ran outside twice.
And 2 miles, babe.
And 2 miles every time. We had a pretty big family emergency kind of like 2 weeks before, so that I really did not run at all 2 weeks before the race, guys. And I was eating like shit, and I was just, you know, I don't know. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna freaking run this, and I don't care how long it takes me, I'm just gonna do it. So my mentality changed from I'm going to do 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes to just finish
it.
In my head, I was already telling people, I was telling Denny, I was like, hey, bro, I heard this comment. I read this comment on the podcast the other day that said your first marathon, you should just focus on finishing. You shouldn't focus on like PRing. Like, that's crazy. Like, you've never ran 13 miles. So how can you focus on doing good? Just focus on finishing it. And to be honest, guys, in the back of my head, I knew that was kind of an excuse.
Yeah.
I kept telling myself, I kept telling Denny, and I was like, that's kind of an excuse. Like, I trained for this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We get to race day. We had to be there at 7:30 sharp. We got there like at 6 because I know in my head I was going to have to poop. And luckily we got there early because I was able to poop like twice before the race. And whatever, we start. So Marco, my friend, he's a really good runner. He fist bumps us. He's like, I'll see you guys at the finish line. He takes off. And then I'm like with Denny, right? And I'm like, oh, like, you know, and shout out to Denny because Denny trained, a month before this?
Literally a month.
And I was like, I'm just going to stay with Denny. We're going to finish together, blah, blah, blah. But I noticed that even at my slowest, I could tell it was like a lot for Denny, right? So then Denny's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And this porta potty, he's like, you go. So then I was like, all right, fuck it. I feel good. And I take off, guys. And I take off. And all of a sudden, this pace that I had in my head, it becomes easy. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was maintaining, for those that don't know or don't follow me on Instagram, I was maintaining a 9:30 pace, which if you do 9:30 times 13, it came out to be like 9:20. I mean, 2 hours and 20 minutes around there, 2 hours. And I was like, okay, like, this is realistic now. Like, oh, in my head, guys, I was like, if I do less than 3 hours, 3 hours was my goal because of not training and eating like shit. I gave myself 3 hours.
That's insane.
So then I was like, blah, 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 blah. I kept running. And then, boom, I was on track, guys. I get to the last mile. And I hadn't ate anything all day. I was just drinking a lot of water, every little post there was, and drinking my electrolytes, like the little supplements they had there. And I was like, but then I get to mile 12 and I get super hungry. And I was like, I don't want to, like, you know, pass out or something like that guy on TikTok that I told you about, babe. So Marco had given me like una barrita de, like a little bar, but it was like gummy material, like maple. I don't know. So then I eat it and I'm like, oh, that felt so good. Boom, boom, boom. And I feel like because my body, I was running and I hadn't had anything in my system, I eat that and like 10 seconds later, guys, boom, it's just like this like if I had gotten shot in the stomach, like the biggest cramp ever. And it literally like me hace como jorobado, to the point where like the little cops, the ER guys that were driving around, they stopped next to me like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, just I'm cramping really bad. And then he's like, put your hands above your head and just try to walk it out, you know? So that's what I did. And I was so sad because if I hadn't stopped, if I hadn't ate that stupid bar, I would have probably hit 2 hours and like some change, like 2 hours and 30 seconds, which would have been, oh my God, I would have been hysterical. Like I would have carried my trophy inside Walgreens and just shown everyone, and I would have never taken it off. But I literally couldn't run, guys. So I ended up crossing the finish line at 2 hours and 9 minutes. And yeah,
babe, that is insane. Like that is my goal next year, to run it in at least 2 hours.
Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that?
A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh.
I love HelloFresh because with a toddler running around these days, we really don't have time for much.
Yep, HelloFresh does all the shopping, prepping, and planning for us, so when it gets here, we have all the ingredients ready to go.
Go to HelloFresh.com/50spillthebeans and use code 50spillthebeans for 50% off plus free shipping.
That's HelloFresh.com/50spillthebeans and use code 50spillthebeans for 50% off plus free shipping.
HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
The time I'm like crossing it, I think I texted Kaylee and I was like, babe, that is insane. Like that is my goal next year, to run it in at least 2 hours and 9 minutes. And it's so funny, guys, because Jonathan had told me, like, leading up to it, he just kept telling me like, no, it's gonna be probably 3 hours. So in my head, I'm like, okay, they're leaving. I mean, it starts at 7:30, so I was like 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, so be there like for sure by 10 a.m. So I have a morning routine with Franco. I'm getting ready, I'm feeding him, getting him ready, you know. It's like a hassle to get out of the house with a toddler. And I didn't keep in mind, or I didn't even know that the marathon, like the full marathon, was going to hit closer to our streets, like before getting into Boulder. So I was like, I did not know that they were going to be closed off for the runners, you know? So we get to the first street and they're like, the cops are there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is literally going to take forever. So we have to wait there for like 10 minutes. And then we get to the next street and then another 10 minutes. And by the time I'm like crossing it, I think I texted Kaylee and I was like, hey, what happened? I said something and she's like, oh yeah, Marco just finished. And then I was like, oh my God, what? I was like, that's amazing. If you guys see Jonathan finish before I get there, like, could you record him? And she's like, oh yeah, Marco recorded him, like he's done. I was like, what? Are you serious? So I called no, I think you called me, right? And I was like, babe, what the hell? He's like, yeah, babe, I finished. Like, where are you? And I'm like, bruh, you literally told me 3 hours and I'm barely like 15 minutes away from where you guys are. So yeah, I was shook. I was literally in awe, and that's all I could talk about for the next 4 days. Yeah. That you finish in 2 hours and 9 minutes. Especially because when Jonathan says something, it usually happens. Like if he says, no, I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to do this, like it happens. So the fact that nowhere and no time was he like, no, I'll probably get like an adrenaline rush. I'll probably get runner's high. I'll probably do this and like finish within 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like, no, he was probably 3 hours. Like he had no faith in himself. So that's when I was like, okay, like if you don't have faith in yourself, then it probably might be 3 hours. You know, it's really hard to run a half a marathon. So when he told me, I was like, dude, 2 hours and 9 minutes, that's insanity. Like, do you know your bragging rights? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, especially because your miles were under 10 minutes, babe. Like,
yeah.
Who in the world? Yeah.
And then the day before, guys, this is how discouraged I was. Or like, I just didn't give a fuck. We ate wings. Pizza Hut wings. We ate pizza. We ate, and then Stacy and Denny got here and they were like starving. So then we got Five Guys with them, which is a burger restaurant, and then chips. And I was like, and then I woke up at 4:50 in the morning, because that's how early because Boulder's kind of far from us. And I was like, I'm going to wake up early because I haven't pooped yet. I didn't poop that night. I hadn't pooped in the morning. I was like, I need to do something. I do not want to get the shits like halfway through my race. That would be so embarrassing. Or like, you know, I've seen, it's because you guys need to understand that a lot of runners, like Marco was telling me he finished in an hour and 52 minutes, right? So he was more on the competitive side. And he told me he saw a lot of ladies, a lot of guys that peed themselves.
What?
That had pee running down their leg and stuff. He's like, dude, it was really common up there. And I've heard it. Did you see? Oh, like if you ran it. And
Bruh.
throughout the race, there were a lot of signs, babe. And at first I thought it was like funny.
Yeah.
Like, but then I was like, oh shit. Like, no, this is towards some actual people. It said, if you don't pee a little, you're not trying hard enough. If you pee yourself, laugh if you've peed yourself. A lot of pee signs. And I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of pee signs or signs regarding pee. And I was like, oh, now I get it. Because a lot of people, they are trying to PR and they're not going to stop in the porta potty. They're just going to do it right there. And I was like, that's true. Because if you have to stop in a porta potty and if there's a line, you're going to ruin your time. So a lot of these, you know, actual people that were trying, and if they get like a really urge to pee because they're drinking a lot of water, they're just going to do it right there. So I was like, oh shit.
Damn, girl, I need to start doing my kegels right now so that I can hold my pee. Because right now I can't hold my pee, period. So imagine when I'm running after being postpartum. No, but even after your postpartum, if you don't do kegels to strengthen your pelvic bone or your pelvic muscle, then you can't hold your pee. You think
that, so you're going to give birth in March, right? Primeramente Dios. By October, that's when the Boulder-thon is again. My goal is to do the whole marathon, guys, by next year. Yours is the half marathon. Do you think you'll be ready? Like,
yeah, I think if I start training as soon as I get cleared at 6 weeks, I'll be able to.
You're going to start training 6 weeks after labor?
Yeah, but, and it's good because I'm not going to be
I thought you were going to say like 3 months, like 12 weeks.
No, I'm not going to be lifting, babe. It's not like I'm going to go straight to the gym and start doing hip thrusts. Like, I'm just going to start running, like getting my miles in. Because it's so funny, guys, because Jonathan was like training for this half marathon, right? But he wasn't really training, because to train for a half marathon, like, it's literally like you run a mile a week and then 2 miles and then 3 miles up until like the month of your half marathon. You're supposed to be running the 13 miles a day.
I never ran 13 miles in my life, guys, before the race.
So that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I'm going to start. Like, so when I'm clear at 6 weeks, I'll start running a mile, and then the next week 2 miles, you know, and then up until I get 13 miles, and then hopefully start like picking up my pace. But I'm scared, girl. I don't know. I'm going to do it. I know I am, but it's scary.
I believe in you, babe. Because girls have a higher pain resistance tolerance. Yeah. And you know, the best long distance runners, like the one I reposted on my story today, it's women for some reason. I think, and then Joe Rogan says that it's due to pain resistance and tolerance, that they can just, their body's aching, they just keep going, you know?
Yeah, I'm excited. I really want to finish that half marathon in under 2 hours. But it's funny because, you know, my fastest pace when I was running was like a 10. I never got below 10 for a mile.
Yeah.
So it's like you ran that half marathon in less than my pace at my best.
Well, yeah, babe, but I've been running. And then, I mean, in order for you to break 2 hours, it has to be in 9:23 pace. I've done the math.
Yeah, I saw this girl that inspired me. She did an 8:30 pace. You know what I want to do too, though? Like, I would love to do the Long Beach half marathon, because you know how they say that we can breathe better down there? Yeah. So I'm like, it'd be cool to train here and then go run it over there. Like, run the Boulder-thon and then run the Long Beach and see which one is faster.
Yeah, shout out to Denny. Not only was it not the lack of training or experience, he came up in elevation by a lot. I mean, he's at sea level for his whole life, you know? And you come up, 5,800 feet, mile high, you know? And if I felt it, babe, when I ran the 10K and Steamboat, and I think we're at 6,000 feet and Steamboat is at 11,000, and I felt it. And I'm from Colorado. So imagine Denny like fly.
Guys, that was so insane. Like, I was so proud of Jonathan, especially because he started his running journey at the beginning of the year, right? Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. Like, he knew this was what he wanted to do. He wanted to do the Boulder-thon. Denny just did it because, like, it was something cool for him, you know? Like, he's like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go to Boulder. I'm going to go visit them, cheer them on. Might as well run it. And he started training. He signed up like a month before, started training a month before. And then, like, all the altitude changes. So it was so insane, like, watching him cross the finish line. And I just... Stacy turns around from vlogging and she's just bawling. And I'm like, dude, same. Like, that must be such... a crazy feeling, like never even having that in your goals and then just doing it, you know? So, girl,
I saw this girl comment on our Instagram post and it said, kids should not be an excuse. Kids are the reason or motivation, something like that.
And it's true.
And it's very true. I would have never done this. If we still hadn't had kids, guys, I would probably still be very overweight. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. And now with our second baby, like, it's even more motivation because I see some dads ran not with their kids, but like they had a lot of little kids waiting for them. And I was like, or like older kids that can understand what their dad is doing or their mom. And I was like, wow, like I want my kids to be proud of me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was Jonathan's biggest motivation was, well, it's always been, right, that you want to be able to play with our kids. And it's knowing Franco
Or
how
traditions.
he is, and he freaking makes him like do the caballito, the toro all the time. So imagine like you got in a good shape at the perfect time as soon as he turned 1, because that's when he started being a crazy little boy. But yeah, guys, just don't even talk to me next year when I finish the Boulder Thon, girl. That's all I'm gonna be saying. Like, yeah, I did a half marathon in 2 hours with 2 kids, postpartum. How much? I said 7 months postpartum.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
6.
I'm excited. I'm nervous.
But technically, you're only going to train for like 5 or 6 weeks because, I mean, months. Because you'll have a month of recovery. No, month and a half of recovery. And then I'm sure if you add up all the days where you can't train because of trips, brand trips, work, then you take like a month off. So only like 4 to 5.
4.
But you got this, babe. I believe in you because you're a really good athlete, and that's why I married you, because our kids will go D1 and play really good sports. Guys, I feel like I have the brain for sports. They just come easy to me. I've always been good at volleyball, soccer, football, and stuff. But then I feel like Blanca has really good genetics. Like, she has big calves, big legs. She's strong as hell. Sometimes we'll be wrestling. I'm like, you know, I got to kick up my, like, I can't go, what's it called? Like, you know that boyfriend strength where you're like, I'll let her win, you know? No, hell no. I gotta kick it into, you know, second gear sometimes with her, because I'm like, okay, you know? So.
I have really, really, really good muscle memory. I feel like that's what it would be, because I can stop working out for a year, and then when I start again, you'll see my muscles right away, which is really insane.
And I'll fast for 6 months. As soon as I eat one Pop-Tart, ya tengo mis lonjas otra vez. So. You know, it's best of both worlds.
I know, but this weekend was so fun, guys. We had Stacy and Denny. We got, you know, the best thing that I saw was how Franco interacted with SJ.
Oh yeah,
he was so cute, and like, I don't know, he was sweet, you know, like he wanted to play with SJ. He wanted to give him all his toys, and like, no, not that Denny or Stacy grabbed the toys. Like, he wanted SJ to grab the toys, you know? So that was so cute watching him interact with the little baby.
The only thing that kept making us nervous is they don't know, like, he doesn't know his strength, obviously. He doesn't know.
And he doesn't know that SJ can't catch a ball.
Yeah, sometimes we would be like chilling here in the living room, and all I see is Franco winding his arm back to throw the ball at SJ, and we would have to like intercept it or the toy. And it's like, no, he's not being mean, obviously. Like, he's still little enough to not know malicious intent. Like, oh, I want to hurt him. No, it's like, I want him to catch the ball like I catch the ball.
I need him to play.
So we would have to be so alert at times, because, you know, a little hit from a ball could really, you know, hurt a little baby like that. But he's big. He's huge.
A little baby.
He's like the boss baby.
Literally, he's so cute.
But he's the cutest baby. They were getting so many compliments this weekend, because I feel like Colorado, guys, not only is it the best state physically, but I feel like our people are some of the nicest people in the country, especially, you know, the white community. And they were so nice to them, I could tell. And they just kept complimenting their baby, because he's the cutest baby ever.
And he's also the calmest.
Oh,
like, there's people that have been like, yeah, my baby is so calm. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's calm. But when Stacy said he's really calm, and we got to be with him this whole weekend, I was like, oh, shit. Like, he is the calmest baby I've ever met. You know, like, we didn't hear him cry. We didn't hear him nothing. He was just chilling the entire time.
But shout out to them. And what else? We just had fun. I feel like we haven't had guests here in a long time.
Yeah, I freaking had so much fun hosting. I love hosting. And I think that if I could host more often, I would. But I understand that, like, that's what I was telling Stacy, because she's like, you go above and beyond. And I'm like, well, yeah, because nobody ever comes to Colorado. Like, what are people going to come here for, you know? So when they do, I have to take advantage. And I'm glad that we were able to host them, and they had so much fun. And then the funniest thing happened. What? You guys know how every single time someone comes and visits us, we usually convince them to switch their flights. Well, obviously, when you have kids, when you have pets, it's not as easy. So when you're going home, that's the day you go home. So the entire time Stacy and Denny were here, they were saying, or Stacy. I was like, Stacy, oh, what time is your flight when you leave? And she's like, oh, it's at 2. It's at 2. It's at 2. I'm like, okay, cool. So llega el martes. And even that morning, I was like, okay, it's at 2. And she's like, yeah. So I was like, perfect. We'll go to brunch. I was like, if we leave by 11:30, you will get there. You'll be able to check in and you'll have like an hour and a half to spare.
Wednesday, babe.
Or Wednesday? Oh, damn. So Wednesday morning comes around. We go to breakfast. We show them this breakfast spot. We are eating breakfast so calmly, like no one's rushing us. We get in the car. We're headed home. And
to pick up your sister.
And my sister texts me. And she's like, hey, I got off early because of the pre-SATs. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll go pick you up. We're like headed to pick up my sister. And then I'm like way in the back row, and then Stacy's in the middle row, and she like puts her phone up and I can see it, and she's like, wait, are we gonna make it to our flight? And I was like, yeah, like it's at 2.
It was like 11:30.
And she's like, it says that it starts boarding at 12:25. And I'm like, Stacy, what? She's like, oh, she's like, I confused landing time with our departure time.
They get to LA at 2.
Yeah. So literally you just feel the car go silent and we're like, oh shit. It's 11:30 by the time that we're like leaving in Longmont. So we're not even close to the airport. And so we just we start talking, you know, coming up with plans, like what's going to happen. We were planning to come home, drop Franco and I off, get their luggage, and then go to the airport. Well, hell no, girl. Literally, Jonathan said, look, guys, if we go to the house to pick up your luggage, you are missing your flight. Like, there's no way. He's like, if I speed, whatever I do, we will not get there in time. But
I already know. Like, we go to the airport so much, guys. I already know, you know?
Yeah, and he's like, but if we leave right now,
straight,
just as we are, you'll make it on the flight barely, like running.
Yeah. Like, I was like, you're going to be those people in the movies. Home Alone style, running through the airport right now.
Yeah, so Stacy and Denny like start talking. They're like, okay, well, we have SJ, we have the stroller, we have his diaper bag, and then
IDs.
By the grace of God, Denny had Stacy's ID in his wallet. So she's like, you know what? We're just gonna leave our stuff and go. I was like, Stacy, she's like, yeah. She's like, it's because it's like it's cheaper to leave our luggage than to have to cancel this and then rebook another flight.
And they have dogs.
And they have dogs. And then, you know, it's just like when you have a baby, you plan everything out. So you know the day you get home, like you already have plans that day, right? So yeah, we ended up literally Jonathan. I texted my sister, was like, hey, can't get you. You're gonna have to stay at school. We go to the airport, they make it, and I'm like, Stacey, just go through the bridge security. Don't even go to the big security because you're gate A. And I was like, and you'll make it right on, like literally right on time. And she's like, okay. So yeah, thankfully, when we leave the airport, like 15 minutes later, she's like, we made it to the gate, guys. And they made it on the flight. And it's so funny because we get home and I'm like, it's like they never left, you know, because they didn't. Like all their toiletries are set up, all their luggage is out.
We haven't even gone into that room.
I know, like, it's so sad. We just see all their stuff. And every time we go in, because it's Franco's nursery, so when I go to change him, he always comes and he's like, bebe, bebe. Because he's looking for the baby because all the things are still there, you know. So yeah, Stacy left her whole makeup here, everything. They just went empty-handed.
Oh, but tell them why it works out. Why they obviously they're not, you know, they're probably thinking like, so they just left.
Oh yeah. So the reason that they felt comfortable leaving their luggage, one is because they do have plans of coming to visit us again. So Stacy's like, if anything, like we could just come get our luggage and then go. But two, we actually have a trip.
Yeah, guys.
I'm so excited. So if you guys,
we're not gonna say when.
Okay, so if you guys remember last year, we went to Disney for the very first time with our compadres, which was a very special memory for us. And now our idea was always to take Franco when he was a little bit older, when he knew who Mickey was. And now like our idea changed as soon as we got pregnant, because like, oh shit, we have to take him before the baby comes, because you know, like the baby is probably gonna have to wait a couple months for them to go with us and stuff. And so anyways, our compadres, we went over last week. Yeah, last week. And they were like, hey guys, so they want to take a baby moon before the baby comes. The baby is coming in 10 weeks, girl. We got to hurry it up. And they're like, well, would you explain it? Explain it. How they said it.
Okay, guys, basically, Luis and me had planned to take a baby moon, but they also know, obviously, they're Franco's padrinos, but they also know how much we love Halloween. So then they were like, I guess it just came out to be, and Luis, it was the only time he had available to get off that weekend. And then also Noemi's due already December.
And that's only a weekend she had available too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we were trying to go other weekends, but then she had, so then
a wedding or something.
So then finally I think we went to Good Tacos and they surprised us. They're like, we're going to Disneyland this weekend and we're going to take Franco.
And they literally said like, no, book the flights right now. I was like, oh, like dead ass. They're like, no, dead ass. So we booked the flights, booked the Airbnb, and get the tickets. Yeah. So basically, we are all headed to Disney this month, which is so exciting because Franco freaking loves Mickey Mouse, dude. He is obsessed with him. Anything that he sees Mickey, he wants it. So it's kind of scary now when we go to the store because it's hard for him to let go of it. So we are going to Disney this month. So we had I let Stacy know that too. And so I was like, dude, we'll just take the luggage, it's 2 carry-ons and a backpack. So I was like, we always book with Southwest, and each passenger gets 2 free checked bags. So I'm like, it's easy, like we can just I'll
take Denny's bag and my bag, she takes her bag and Stacy's bag, and then
and the backpacks.
And
because we usually only pack one backpack anyway, so you can take the backpack too. And so that's basically why it was like everything worked out. We're like, girl, you are fine, just go. And she even got a TikTok out of it. She went to buy all her necessities again. So yeah, it was an adventure to say the least. And it was just sad because Stacey had that happen to her last year too, when she was pregnant with SJ. So thankfully they didn't miss this one, but they just had to leave behind all the things.
Yeah, guys. Oh, we're also planning on doing, do you guys remember our cabin trip we did last year in the beginning of December for the World Cup final? Well, we're going to do it again.
For the World Cup.
We're still ups because a lot of people, are busy and we're trying to round everyone up. But everyone so far has been like, are you going to do the cabin trip again? Are you going to do the cabin trip? And I'm like, the cabin trip was just kind of for the World Cup, guys. But if you guys want me to do it again, sure. I mean, if you loved it that much. And so, but this time it's going to be family.
Yeah, well, the cabin trip was for the World Cup, but it ended up working out that it was Vlogmas. Yeah. So that's why everybody started calling it the Vlogmas trip. And so we are going to do a Vlogmas trip this December. And it's going to be the family Vlogmas trip.
Yeah, guys, last year it was World Cup, so just couples, right? Because we were going to party, drink, blah, blah, blah. No kids. But this year we're like, you know what? We're in our family era. A lot of people had babies, and it's hard, to leave them with the babysitter, with the nanny, etc. So I was like, what if we do a cabin just full of kids?
Yeah, so it'll be the whole family gets to come. We're gonna book in a kid-friendly place where we can go snow tubing and like do things with the babies. And maybe not so far as well, because a lot of kids can't be in the car seat for too long because they get super stressed, aka Franco. So we're like trying to plan that out, which is exciting because it's gonna be like a replay of last year except with kids.
But you don't have to have a kid to come, guys.
Oh yeah.
We already talked to some of our friends that don't have kids. Obviously you guys know who they are, and I was like, hey, the invitation is out there, but I also don't want you to feel bad if you say no or you can't come, because there are going to be kids. And like me personally, I'm going to speak for experience. If I didn't have kids and a lot of my friends had kids and we went to a cabin, I'd kind of be like, I'll take a rain check, just because, I don't know, me personally being around a lot of kids that I don't know makes me anxious because they can fall, or like a lot of kids are like, I don't know, like I know everyone's kids. I know Catalina, I know Adriel and
SJ.
SJ. No, the baby, I forget her. Ari. I know all of them, and I know how they are, and they're not gonna like, because those kids, baby, that throw you under the freaking bus. You'll grab like a Cheeto from them and they'll start crying, and that makes me super anxious, guys. So,
but it's also the new generation that we're into. Like all these kids, are crazy. Like COVID babies, and like Catalina's super brave.
I've known Blanca for so long, for 10 years now. So I've known, her little sisters now are 13 and 14. So I knew them when they were 3 and 4. And I would used to mess around with the littlest one, Magali. And I don't remember what I did. It was her, me, and her dad.
You don't remember what you did, whore?
Well, I'll try to remember. It was me, her, and her dad on the kitchen table. And what did I say to her?
You said something, and then
It was like funny.
yeah, but then you look at her and you're like, "Are you gonna cry?"
Oh yeah. I was like, "Are you gonna cry?" But I didn't say it like in a bullying way. I was like, "Are you?"
You did.
No, I didn't, babe. I was like, "Are you
Babe.
gonna cry?" And guys, she started freaking crying in front of my suegro, and I was like, "Trágame tierra." I was like, "Oh my freaking!" My suegro's like, "¿Qué pasó?" You know, with his deep ass voice, and he wasn't like mad at me, but like. It was like, obviously I made, like, if I was in his spot, like, this guy just made my little girl cry, like, I'm gonna be asking questions, you know. So I was like, oh no, nada, like, no matter, you know. And
That is so funny.
he kind of knows how his daughter is. My Ali used to be a little crybaby when she was little, but now she's cool. And so yeah, anyways, well, what did I say that story?
Because that's how my sisters were. So you know that the kids now aren't like that.
Oh yeah, the kids now, like, I'm assuming because we're cooler parents than our parents.
Well, even then, like, we've seen Franco convivir with all
Yeah.
of them. So, and they've been fine. Like, they don't fight. They just play, wrestle.
Wrestle a lot. Catalina and Franco. Those videos, did you ever post them on Instagram?
I don't think I did.
Those videos were so funny, guys. Franco and Catalina were literally choke holding each other on the ground, and we were just like, you know,
I'm like, they
feel
ain't crying.
Yeah, I feel like that's cool when you have friends that are as cool as you. You can, like, obviously they're not slapping each other. They were just like hugging on the ground and like
Yeah.
trying to get on top of
And
each
plus,
other.
I feel like we're comfortable enough to be like, Franco, don't do this. You know, like, we know that we will correct our own child. It's not like we'll have to be
yeah.
like,
That's the biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
If I
Like how
had pet
kids-
peeves, guys, it's when a parent won't discipline their own child.
or correct them.
Because I would grab Franco and I would be like, no, Franco. And then el compadre grabs Catalina. No, Catalina, you know? And it's not like I'm waiting for el compadre to say something if
Exactly.
Catalina's just slapping the crap out. Or I'm just like, you know, over here in La La Land. Like,
Let him-
guys, those
yeah.
parents that are in like La La Land when their kid is clearly doing like una travesura just irks me so bad. So that's why I'm always on top of Franco. Like Franco, well, like with SJ here, I was like, baby, watch out. Because sometimes he was closer to Blanca than me because, you know, I don't want anything to happen to other people, and I don't want our friendships to go to shit. So I love being with other parents that are just as like on top of their kids.
Yeah, on their kids as much. And yeah, I mean, it's hard because toddlers are toddlers, you know, but as much as we can intervene, which is why the invitation's open to everyone except, what was I saying?
Except
No, I mean, to our friends that don't have kids, like, we've already told them, they're like, oh yeah, we're down. Like, well, we love kids, you know? So that's exciting. Vlogmas trip number 2 coming in
I'm
December.
just gonna spill the beans, guys.
Don't spill them.
Yeah, because I feel like, what do you guys think? Like, tell us in the comments if you had experience. I told Blanca this is a really good idea, right? Because it's cute and whatnot. But I'm also nervous because when we're all friends, right? But then we also there's gonna be a lot of kids. So like sometimes kids will fight and argue, and it's like, has it ever happened to you guys where that kind of like hurts your friendship instead of help?
Yeah.
Because there will be a lot of kids, and I don't know, like I'm always prepared for the worst. Like something's bound to happen. Like if a kid throws like a rock at Franco's head and he starts bleeding, I'm like, fuck, like I'm not gonna let that slide either. You know?
I think what's good though is that so far none of us are outnumbered. So one parent is always with the baby, you know?
Yeah.
So I think
that's true,
that'll be a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's the parents
A
that
peace
have
of
like
mind.
5 kids, 4 kids, and they're just
Yeah,
like,
when you're outnumbered. 'cause
they
you
like
can't
literally
be-
get to the place and they're like, be free. And I do not care, do not bother me. You know, there's
Yeah.
moms, like, I'm thinking of someone.
Well, yeah, but it's even like when they're like, a vacation with your kids isn't really a vacation. It's just parenting them in a different state. So that's basically what we want. Like, we want them to change visuals, you know, like where they are, and come to the snow and, you know, just have like cozy days and have fun in the snow. Maybe they will be in the snow for the first time.
Imagine
So-
bedtime. How would you eat? Because everyone has different bedtimes.
Well, everyone's gonna have to bring loud ass white noises. But yeah, so we're definitely thinking about that, and keeping in mind that everybody needs their own separate room, and keeping in mind that we need a kid friendly place. So we have a lot of planning to do, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's coming up in December too, and I think for the most part, those are the only trips we have planned coming up, right?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's basically it.
My gosh, I feel like everything's just coming by so fast. I feel like when we're in the middle of October, the rest of the year just flies. So yeah, also we're still planning our Halloween costumes. We don't know where we're gonna be this year, but you know what I was thinking? That next podcast is gonna be our spooky podcast.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna be dressed up.
Yeah, guys, we didn't really go for that theme. One, because our child is kind of scared of Halloween still. Like if it's not very kid friendly, he kind of like when we go to Home Depot or Walmart and he sees the decorations. Not so much now.
He's not scared.
The very beginning, October 1st or September 20th, when the decorations go up and stores start selling, he was kind of like, oh, like hell no, you know.
What the hell
but
is
now
that?
he walks in and he sees it. But we just want to respect him and not force him.
Now he likes it, you know, like our neighbors have a bunch of decorations and he'll go sit in front of their lawn and just like stare at them. So he'll be fine by next year. But yeah, this year we didn't really decorate, even though you have a kid-friendly decoration that you're supposed to set up. But you know, we didn't dress up either, especially because we literally filmed these podcasts during Franco's nap time. And last year was easier because he was up and we would be able to get a cute little clip of him in. But yeah, guys, we're going to dress up for next podcast and it's going to be our spooky podcast. The other reason we didn't do spooky podcast the whole month of October was because last year our feedback was, it wasn't negative, but it was more of like,
this is 50-50.
Yeah, like this is too much. Like I don't want to be listening to scary shit all the time. So we got like 50-50. So that's why we're going to keep it to one episode of October for spookiness.
Yeah. I saw this TikTok, guys, that said like why scary movies are bad and stuff. And it's like your eyes are the gateway into your soul, like whatever you see. And it's like, and this is funny because I'm going to explain it here in a bit. It said, like, how do you think these directors come up with this shit? Like The Exorcist, the killing, the gruesome scenes, like, for someone to be imagining that, like, the guy was basically saying it doesn't come from a good place. Does that make sense? Like when The Exorcist starts twisting, it's like, how does a director know that? How does a director know this? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like he was basically, I don't know si se está pasando, but he was basically saying that these directors most of the time are, you know, satanic or you know, they're into demons and shit like that. But then I was listening because Blanca never misses a Chins and Giggles episode, and you always have it in the background when you're doing laundry or showering and stuff like that. And who was it? Karina or Myra was like, "Do you guys ever think of the shit you would do if I was a director or something?"
Yeah, she's
like
I would be a good ass director for scary
So then
movies.
that kind of threw that TikTok out the window. I was like, you know, some people are just creative or like, you know, to be funny or scary like that. So I was like, damn,
Karina was talking about a scene that, or I don't know, I think it was Karina. She's like, I would picture the Exorcist running next to me in the car, like at the speed of the car. She's like, that's fucking scary. Like I would put that in a movie.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that is scary, you know? And like, you know how we watch movies and we're like, bro, this isn't even scary. Like I would have done this or this, you know, to make it scarier. So I think it's not even that they're satanic. It's just that they're very creative and they put things that would scare them in real life into a movie and bring it to life, you know?
I mean, half and half. There are directors.
Yeah, I'm sure. But there was this other TikTok, guys, that I showed Jonathan yesterday. It was like this Christian content creator. And she was dressed up with her kid. And she was standing in front of her house that was decorated with pumpkins and like jack-o'-lanterns. And she's like, we don't celebrate Halloween. We just like to dress up for fun. And then the guy was like, that's literally Halloween.
That's
like,
literally.
That is what Halloween is. You dress up and you decorate your house. And it's like the comments were like, yeah, what do you think that we sit in our living room and summon demons
and on the full moon? Like what? Yeah, but that's boomer mentality, guys, and you got to do it what you think is fun.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy. I know, just like to think about it, because before I got married and moved into our own place, it was very normal for us to watch scary movies. And as soon as we got into an apartment, I was like, we're never watching a scary movie here. We moved into our house, never. And here, never. Like, we watched thrillers. Like, even the one last night was
the one last night
the
wasn't scary at all.
scariest one that we've watched.
It was Ma.
Yeah. And I'm like, hell no. Like, you know, when Jonathan used to tell me, because if you guys don't know, quick story time, Jonathan grew up never watching a scary movie in his life. It was literally banned from his house to watch scary movies. And
I can go to the bathroom at 3 a.m.
and
Miss over here
and I used to tell him, like, I used to say, why, well, what was your mom's reasoning? And he's like, well, because, you know, they say that like those vibes that you see in the TV can be brought into your home. And I was always like, that is so lame, whatever. And as soon as like I started actually thinking about it, I'm like, oh, like that's really, like that's actually true, you know. And I don't like the vibes that are brought into the home when you're scared. Like I like going to the theater and like leaving it there and then getting home and I'm like, okay, like I'm home, I'm in peace, I don't watch scary movies here. So yeah, ever since we don't watch scary movies here. But the other day we were thinking of watching a scary movie and I was up for it, but it was daylight. As soon as the night came, I'm like, we're not watching a scary movie, girl. And it's funny because I'm traumatized, like dead ass traumatized, where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and if it's dark, I just know that someone's in the darkness watching me. I can't go to the bathroom. I literally have to have Jonathan go with me. I have to have a flashlight on, everything. And it's like Jonathan said, he can go to the bathroom. He's not scared of the dark. Like if he hears a sound, he will go and see what it is. If I hear a sound, I will wake him up to go and see what it is.
That's my biggest pet peeve. Her and her sisters do this shit where like they want to watch the scariest movie, but then at night I están llorando or like her sisters sleep with the lights on. Like the full bright.
I used to sleep with the lights on.
We switched the bulb, so it's not even the yellow light. We got LEDs in there. And I was like, I walk in, like sometimes I'll wake up super early or something and I'll see the little light in there shining and the pitch black. I'm like, no que no, you know? So it's like, how are you going to be like, I want to watch this movie. I want to watch this scary movie. And then be a scaredy cat in real life. Like, no, that's not how this works.
It is how it works for girls, babe. That's por eso te tengo.
And guys too. Luis doesn't like scary movies.
That's true. But yeah, that's why I'm glad that my husband isn't scared of the dark or anything by any means.
Well, you're gonna lose that husband slowly, babe, because you're scaring me with these scary movies. I used to not, because what you don't know, como te dice, lo que no sabes no te puede hacer daño.
What you don't know doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, so me not growing up watching scary movies or Halloween or bad vibes, I could sleep in the basement in the dark. I could go outside at night and run. I could do all these things. But slowly, as I've married Blanca and I'm more into this life of scary movies and bad vibes and stuff like that, I feel my heart getting more scared. I feel like I feel anxious, guys. Like sometimes we'll finish watching something and I feel like, how quickly can I get to my pew pew if someone can like break in? I hide knives around the house.
But you're not scared of spirits. Like that's what we're scared of. Like we're scared of seeing a little girl in the hallway and you're like scared of someone breaking into the house.
You like to watch those stupid thrillers that are about people breaking into houses, and that makes me anxious.
So not scary movies, thrillers.
No, like The Exorcist and shit. Like, come on, like
exactly. See, like Jonathan giggles at like The Exorcist and The Nun, but when it comes to like break-ins, like it makes you anxious.
That makes me anxious, guys, because I feel like I'm not gonna be prepared, or sometimes I feel like someone's gonna try to like break into the house really quickly and do something. I'm like, shit, how quickly can I get to this and call 911 and do this? That makes me anxious. Yeah, I don't care about the little girl. Like,
yeah, that's why when we
don't eat my chips,
guys. And it's so funny because when we hear a sound, like I automatically think it's a demon in the house. And when he hears a sound, and I'm like, babe, go check it out. He's like, okay, well, I need a weapon. Like, I'm not just gonna go check it out. And it's so funny because I'm like, well, what are you gonna do if it's a little ghost? And you
say Jesus' name out loud. No, but literally 2 days ago, I was like chilling on the bed, falling half asleep, and I do hear knocking, and right away to me, I ignored it, but then Blanca comes into her, was like, did you hear that? I heard knocking. And I was like, okay, I'll go check it out or whatever. And you thought it was, like paranormal. And I'm over here thinking like, oh shit, someone's about to break in or someone, whatever. And it's like, fuck,
I always think it's a demon. That's the first thing that comes. Like there's a little girl in a white dress and her hair over her face waiting for me outside. And Jonathan's like, oh shit, like someone's trying to break in and kill us. But yeah, guys, I'm excited for a spooky podcast next week. We have a couple of scary stories that have happened that we can talk about.
Yeah, I look forward to those. I think one a month is good.
Yeah.
Since we upload 4 times a month, once a week, I think one of those 4 we can make it spooky, guys.
Well, I mean in October.
Let's compromise. Yeah, in October.
Yeah. So anyways, was that it for today's podcast?
Guys, that was it for today. Let us know what you want us to talk about next week. Or if you want us to submit your own stories, go ahead and submit your paranormal stories on the DMs. Try to make them short, guys, so we can get more of them knocked out. And yeah.
But without further ado, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Yay Networks.